As a successful businesswoman, Emily Wilson's life was a whirlwind of meetings, deadlines, and endless travel. Her friends and family had given up on her ever finding love, but Emily secretly longed for someone to share her life with. That's when she met Ethan Thompson. Their initial encounter was on a dating app, where Ethan's chiseled features and charming smile caught Emily's attention. They exchanged flirtatious messages, and she found herself laughing and feeling alive for the first time in years. As they talked, Emily opened up to Ethan about her high-pressure job, her love of art, and her passion for cooking. Ethan listened attentively, sharing his own stories of struggle and perseverance. But there was something Ethan wasn't telling Emily. He was hiding a secret. Ethan was, in fact, a former scammer who had made a living by targeting vulnerable women online. However, after a near-death experience, he had vowed to turn his life around and make amends for his past mistakes. As Emily and Ethan's online relationship deepened, she began to develop strong feelings for him. She couldn't believe how much they had in common, from their love of adventure to their passion for social justice. But just as things were starting to heat up between them, Emily's best friend, Rachel, stumbled upon some disturbing information about Ethan's past. "Emily, I need to tell you something," Rachel said, her voice trembling with concern. "I've been doing some digging on Ethan, and I think you need to be careful." Emily's heart sank. "What did you find out?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Rachel hesitated before revealing the truth. "Ethan has a history of scamming women online," she said. "I don't think he's who he says he is." Emily felt as though she had been punched in the gut. She didn't know what to believe. Was Ethan genuinely interested in her, or was he just playing her like a fiddle? Determined to get to the bottom of things, Emily decided to confront him about his past. But just as she was about to send him a message, Ethan surprised her with a shocking revelation of his own. "Emily, I have something to tell you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Something that could change everything between us." Emily's heart was racing. "What is it?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ethan took a deep breath before revealing the truth. "I'm not who you think I am," he said. "But not for the reasons you might think." Emily was confused. "What do you mean?" she asked. Ethan explained that he had indeed been a scammer in the past, but he had turned his life around after a near-death experience. Ethan's near-death experience occurred during a violent confrontation with a rival scammer. He had grown up in a low-income household with a single mother working multiple jobs to make ends meet. Despite her best efforts, they often struggled to pay bills and put food on the table. As a teenager, Ethan had felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He wanted to help his mother and improve their situation, but he didn't know how. That was when he met Marcus, a charismatic and wealthy individual who took him under his wing. Marcus taught Ethan how to make quick money online through various schemes, including romance scams. At first, Ethan was hesitant, but Marcus's charm and promise of easy money won him over. Ethan convinced himself that he was doing it for his family, to give them a better life. As he became more involved in the scamming world, he lost sight of his original motivations. He became seduced by the thrill of the scam, the rush of adrenaline when he successfully manipulated someone, and the financial rewards that came with it. Over time, Ethan built a reputation as a skilled scammer, earning the respect of his peers and the fear of his victims. He bought a bigger and better house for his surprised mother, who kept asking where he got the money from. But he told his mother, a friend had introduced him to his business. He established manufacturing companies with the money he made from scamming and lived big. Yet he kept scamming vulnerable women who fell prey. But beneath the surface, Ethan was struggling. He felt trapped in a life he didn't want. The rival, who had been tracking Ethan for months, finally caught up with him at a seedy hotel on the outskirts of town. The rival, fueled by anger and a desire for revenge, attacked him with a knife. He tried to defend himself, but he was no match for his attacker's strength and fury. As the rival's knife sliced through his abdomen, he felt his life slipping away. He remembered thinking about his mother, his childhood, and the choices he had made that had led him to this moment. Ethan's vision began to fade, and he felt himself being pulled towards a dark tunnel. He was aware of the sound of sirens in the distance, but they seemed to be getting farther and farther away. Suddenly, he felt a jolt of pain, and his vision snapped back into focus. He saw the rival standing over him, the knife still clutched in his hand. But something was different. The rival's expression had changed from one of anger to one of shock and horror. He stared at Ethan as if he had seen a ghost. Ethan realized that he had been given a second chance. He knew that he had to change his ways and make amends for his past mistakes. Ethan spent several weeks in the hospital recovering from his injuries. During that time, he had a lot of time to reflect on his life and the choices he had made. He realized that he had been living in a state of denial, convincing himself that he was doing the right thing even when he knew it was wrong. His near-death experience had shaken him to his core. He knew that he had to change, but he didn't know where to start. Ethan's journey towards redemption was long and difficult. He started by making amends with the people he had hurt, including the women he had scammed. "I've been trying to make amends for my past mistakes," he said. "And I think I've been doing that gradually. Giving back what I have collected from the women I scammed." He continued to tell Emily how he sought therapy to deal with the emotional trauma he had experienced. Ethan's therapist helped him to work through his feelings of guilt and shame, and to develop a more positive self-image. Ethan's second turning point came when he met Emily. She was kind, compassionate, and beautiful, and he was immediately drawn to her. As they started talking, there was a feeling of a sense of connection between them that he had never experienced before. He knew that he wanted to be honest with her, to tell her the truth about his past and his feelings. They talked at length. Emily was skeptical, but Ethan's words struck a chord deep within her as he spoke and told her everything. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to trust him. But could she really? As Emily struggled to come to terms with Ethan's revelation, she received an unexpected visit from him physically. He showed up at her doorstep, flowers in hand, and a look of determination in his eyes. "I know I've hurt you," he said. "But I want you to know that I'm committed to making things right between us." Emily was taken aback by Ethan's sincerity. She saw the genuine remorse in his eyes, and her heart began to soften. "Ethan, she started to say. But before she could finish, he swept her into his arms and kissed her passionately. It was a kiss that left Emily breathless and wanting more. As they pulled away from each other, she knew that she had a decision to make. Could she forgive Ethan for his past mistakes and take a chance on him? Or would she let her fears and doubts dictate her future? In the end, Emily chose to follow her heart. She forgave Ethan and gave him a second chance. Ethan and Emily's relationship was not without its challenges, but they faced them together, as a team. Ethan's near-death experience had been a wake-up call, a reminder that life is short and precious. He was grateful for a second chance, and he vowed to make the most of it. And as they embarked on their journey together, Emily knew that their love would conquer all, even the shadows of Ethan's past. Emily saw the sincerity in Ethan's eyes and knew that he was genuinely sorry for his past actions. She forgave him and encouraged him to continue on his path of redemption. Together, they worked on rebuilding the lives of those he had hurt. As they worked together, Emily and Ethan's relationship blossomed. They realized that they had found their perfect match in each other. Ethan proposed to Emily, and she said yes. Their wedding was a beautiful celebration of their love and redemption. Ethan's victims, who had become like family to him, attended the wedding and forgave him in person. Emily and Ethan exchanged vows, promising to love and support each other for the rest of their lives. Emily and Ethan lived happily ever after, surrounded by the people they loved. They continued to work together, helping others who had been affected by scams and fraud. Their love story was one of redemption, forgiveness, and the power of true love to overcome even the darkest of pasts.